It's been a really long time since we checked in on the Suriname national team. Almost 2 years, in fact, since our 2023 ABCS Cup victory. But with very good reason, as we spent the entirety of the last 18 months playing friendlies. They may have been meaningless matches to some extent, but they did help us build up an impressive unbeaten run, which facilitated a slow but steady climb up to 111th in the world rankings, placing us just ahead of the Philippines and Comoros and closing in on Azerbaijan and India. So yeah, real big-time football. After a year of relative relaxation in the Caribbean, 2025 would see a flurry of international action, with World Cup qualifying across the year, the Gold Cup in the summer and the ABCS Cup in the autumn. So let's start with the early rounds of CONCACAF World Cup qualifying. With the USA, Canada and Mexico joint hosts for 2026, this represented a massive chance for us to qualify. Suriname, along with Curaçao, had a bye for the first round. Aruba did not and fell to Guyana, whom we would then face in a two-legged knockout tie with a place in the final group stage at stake. Now, with Guyana 50 places below us in the rankings, we were favourites, but as our near neighbours and rivals, a potentially tough pair of matches lay ahead. And that is exactly what we got, having to come from behind in the first leg to earn a 4-2 victory, and also having to come from behind in the second leg to get a 2-2 draw as part of a goal-tastic 6-4 aggregate win. That would put us, along with Curaçao, into the final stage of qualifying, where we would face El Salvador, Haiti, and Panama in Group A. Now, with all three of those nations ranked a fair way above us, yet with only the top team guaranteed to go through, we had a potentially tough task ahead. But let me know before you see any of the action what you think of the group. Leave your prediction in the comments. How far do you think we can go? There was some frustrating news ahead of the start of the group stage, however, as our attacking midfield playmaker, Jaron Cherry, announced his plans to retire at the end of the domestic season. Now, granted, he had just turned 37, but surely he could have stuck around for a couple of months for World Cup qualifying and the Gold Cup. But well, thank you for your service, Jaron, and good luck as a manager. You're gonna need it with those stats. And silver linings and all that, as well, as we use the opportunity to call up Robinhood youngster Giovanna Paddy as his replacement. And our Paddy played a role as we stunned El Salvador in our opening third-round match with a convincing 3-0 win. We hosted favourites to win the group, Haiti, a few days later, and fortune played a role for both sides. Get it? As it finished in a 1-1 draw. But we would have to put World Cup qualifying on hold for a few months as we turned our attention to the 2025 Gold Cup. We would end up in Group B, which, despite the challenge of facing perennial hosts USA, gave us cause for optimism, as we had beaten Guadeloupe in the group stage of the same competition 2 years ago, and we had also, of course, just beaten El Salvador. Just never mind the fact that they beat us in the Gold Cup group stage last time. With El Salvador and Guadeloupe our first two opponents, we would be gunning for 6 points before taking on the USA in our final game. I named a mix of veteran and young talent in my 23-man squad. As ever, Sean Kleiber would be one of our key players as captain versatile, and Demille Denkulu, now at Brentford, would also be useful in a number of positions. While for goals, with Jaron Cherry no longer available, we would be relying on Mitchell Tavrede. In addition to Giovanni Paddy, we also had Robinhood boy Marky Mark, as well as Gillian Castiel and Sylvian Cherry to add some youthful verve. But we would need our key players to be at their best. Sadly, on this occasion, their best wasn't quite enough. We weren't terrible, but with those match stats and player ratings, this felt like points dropped more than a point earned. At least Guadeloupe had pulled off no surprises in their defeat to the USA, so as long as we could beat them, well, it was a match in which we were second best. So thank the FM gods that Tavrede showed up, scoring a brace, including a dramatic late winner to get us a vital 3 points. That put us on paper in a strong position to progress. There were just two catches. First of all, we still had to play the USA, and a heavy defeat there, coupled with a big win for El Salvador, could still see us go home. And even if we got through, it would likely be in second place, which would mean a quarterfinal tie with Group A winners, Mexico. And thankfully, it was the latter of those scenarios that played out. The US were just too good for us, and already eliminated Guadeloupe did us a big favour by beating El Salvador, which secured us second place in the group and the reward of a knockout round tie against Mexico. But once again, I implore you not to be like one of those fans who leaves the stadium on 85 minutes because they think their team is on track to lose. Stick around, click on like, subscribe to the channel and strap yourselves in. This match is going to be a lot closer than you think. The match started off as you might expect. Mexico piled on the early pressure and earned themselves a penalty, duly converted by Raul Jimenez, 1-0. Then a moment of total football meets total disaster. Mexico were on the attack, but Han made the save at his near post. Now just take a moment to admire this next move. Look at how we take the ball out of defence, exploiting the centre, the right flank with our crisp passing, switching it out even to the left flank, recovering even when the ball is intercepted, backboard making the overlapping fullback run, cross from the byline, and poor Luis Romero heading it into his own net. And then the moment of magic. Late in the first half, we got a throw in high up the pitch. Again, the short, crisp passing. And although our initial cross was cleared, Kleiber was in position to recycle it. Again, backboard out on the flank, but he didn't cross this time. He pulled it inside. It came back to Kleiber, who set up Sylvian Cherry, 2-1 up at half-time. In the second half, Mexico threw pretty much everything at us. They dominated possession. They had chance after chance. And if you're thinking Mexico will equalise late on, well, you've obviously played FM a lot over the years. Sure enough, on 83 minutes, a highlight, a free kick, the ball hammered into the back of the net. But wait, what's this? VAR comes to the rescue. And then 90+4, another free kick, the header this time clipping the bar. And that was the final action of the game. We had done it. Cue wild celebrations on the streets of Paramaribo with red, green and yellow fireworks exploding late into the night. Some perspective here. I've played as various CONCACAF nations over the years. The Cayman Islands on Football Manager 2020, Canada and Trinidad and Tobago on FM21. And it is near impossible to beat Mexico unless you're the USA. But we have just witnessed it with Suriname. So with Mexico, their dreams, their hopes, their reputation shattered, it was time to face Jamaica in the semi-final, with the Reggae Boys all that stood between us, and a dream final with Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, they had just beaten Canada and we'd just beaten Mexico, so it was a money match. But it was not to be. Jamaica scored early on and then tore us to pieces in the second half as they added 3 more goals for a 4-0 win, which was the exact same score as the other game, so the dream final was not to be. The USA would go on to win the non-dream final. Despite our heroics, Suriname would be snubbed in the end of tournament awards, not even getting a player in the dream team, not even getting the nod as the overachievers in the end of competition review. I guess I'm just that good. We would see out 2025 with the conclusion of the World Cup qualifying campaign and the ABCS Cup. And I know I polled you guys on the community page, and the decision was for this to be an all-in-one episode, but that Gold Cup action was too much to handle. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss the next international episode.